Connell leaned against the ankle of the giant mech, watching the towers of New Torwood City pass him one by one. In his years as a black market runner, he'd seen many amazing mechs, bejeweled creations worth millions, and ancient mechs fueled by powers that modern mages could only dream of. Talos was in a league of his own. The giant metal guardian of the city was a perpetual motion machine, a rustic and stoic piece of art, and as beautiful in his own way as the Princess Tinker who cared for him. The giant metal foot lifted, swung forward, and slammed to the ground again. Connell swayed and jerked with it. The motion had been less pronounced inside the mech. Out here, Talos's steps had the rhythm of a rolling ship slamming into wave after wave. Connell had never been a good sailor. "Wolves were meant to run, not swim," said Geru, the wolf in the back of his mind. "Then let's run, brother." He tapped Talos's leg with the flat of his hand. "Take care of her, old friend." He leaped, hit the ground hard, then rolled into the shadow of a rocky outcropping before the keepers on the wall spotted him. As soon as he was on his feet again, he patted himself down, checking for the 2 gifts Rowan had given him. In his pocket was the key to Talos's lowered door, so he could return to her one day. He also wore a graphium locket to keep in touch. The locket rested below his breastbone on a chain long enough that it wouldn't hinder his shifting and would fit snugly in the thick ruff of the wolf. His princess had thought of everything. He was traveling light, only 1 small pack. He left his bow behind because he couldn't carry it when he ran as a wolf. His only weapons for this long journey through monster-infested lands would be his air knives, his teeth, and his claws. His gaze swept over the vast meadows, now turning golden under the summer sun. It was right that he was returning to that empty landscape. A lone wolf needed space to hunt, and yet he turned back to the great city of New Torwood with the northern sun glinting off its walls. He squinted, but the tower where he'd left Rowan was already out of sight. He turned his back on the city. He'd made his choice. As he walked into the meadows, Geru howled. "I thought you'd be happy to be back on the road," Connell said. Geru snorted. "Without our mate, a road is barren." "We'll come back again." Connell believed those words, but he couldn't hide his secrets from the wolf, and they both knew there was a chance they would never return. "And still you run," the wolf groused. "For Nathan and Misha," Connell said, using his brother and his brother's wolf like bait. Geru had mourned their passing as much as he had, but wolves were more pragmatic. "Nathan and Misha are dead. Mate is alive." Connell had no rebuttal for that, so he kept walking. The plan was to stay off the road, but close to Canta Highway as it snaked westward. When he reached Old Torwood City, he would turn north and follow Dawson River as far as he could, then find an Ebos scouting party and track them to Benny, the fabled Ebos city. There were 3 big flaws in that plan. First, rangers patrolled the highway and the meadows around it. From his smuggling days, Connell knew they would stop and search anyone they found suspicious. The second flaw was that he had only a vague idea of Benny's actual location. The Ebos were a nomadic people, but rumors said their only city was somewhere in the far northwest where the Ubrulan Mountains branched into 2 arms before fading into the sea. Connell had experience chasing rumors. His job tracking down valuable mechs had led him on more than one wild goose chase, but if the Ebos held the secret of what had happened to his brother, Connell had no choice but to chase this goose. The third obstacle to his plan was Durance, wild blood territory. He couldn't avoid the Shifter Enclave. It was huge, spanning nearly 1,000 miles of wooded land north of Old Torwood City. It was also where he'd grown up with Nathan and their father and sister. Durance flanked the Dawson River along his direct route to Benny. He'd left there when he was 16 and never looked back. He wasn't eager to return now, but it seemed inevitable and somehow fitting.